It's good to see you again. You're welcome to the number 5 surest tip to wow yourself and your French examiner. This is titled Les compléments d'objects Les compléments d'objects. Now, you need to first check these questions as usual and see what you can do first. Then we hope that by the end of the lesson, you should be able to pick correct answers. All right, let's go to the next slide. We have the list of complement direct complement object. Okay, what do we call them object? That is the receiver of the action. But before I go deep into the explanation, you need to first know what are the COD, all right, in French. What do they mean? All right, then we have them on the board. We have me, te, le, la, l'apostrophe, nous, vous, les. Now you look at the le, la there, that is signifying him or a, all right? Then as well as l'apostrophe, that's when the word is starting with a vowel, all right? Or the word is starting with Ashmere, if you remember from the first tip, all right? From the previous tips that we have treated. Then you should also note that the imoha is applicable to it too. Maybe something that is not animate, all right, an animate object, all right, or it may be an animal, all right, so we can still use imoha for them. That's why you see the slash it there. So we can have it that is masculine, it that is feminine, and it that is starting with L apostrophe or L aspirate H, if you remember. Now let's go to the next slide. We need to go deep there now. So when we see the complément d'objects, in other words, you can still call them les pronoms d'objects. All right, now let me take you deeper. When we say object in French, okay, or generally, that means that the one that receives the action. But in French, our object is in two forms. We have direct object and indirect object, all right? So, I noted on the screen there that it is direct object because one, the verb involved is transitive. Now, when we say transitive, what are transitive verbs? Those are verbs that take an object in order for them to make complete sense. For example, verb to die, right? The man died is not a transitive verb because it does not require any object for the statement to make sense. The man died, yes. He did not do any other thing, but the verb kill, all right? The man killed the goat, all right? The man killed the dog. So there has to be an object there. So for that reason, verb to die, mourir, all right, is an intransitive verb. Why that of kill? Tier, that's tier in French, is a transitive verb. Okay, now then secondly, I said that there's no interference of preposition a or de in between the verb and the object. I need to explain this for you. Now, why do we say direct object? Now, direct objects are objects, right, that do not have any interference of a, preposition a, which means to or at, right, or preposition de in between the verb and the object. Let me take it again. For us to have a direct object, that means that there is no preposition a, all right? That means preposition to or at, or preposition de between the verb and the object, all right? For example, just like the one I stated the other time in English, the man killed the goat, okay? L'homme a tué la chèvre. The man killed the goat. If you look at it, l'homme, the man, a tué, killed, okay? Now, and that a that I used is the past tense, okay? That is the combination of we call it something auxiliary, yes, auxiliary verb, helping verb. It is helping tuer, just like the man has killed. So French can use it as the man killed. So it is the a does not mean preposition a that we are referring to here. So let's continue now. L'homme a tué, the man killed, then the goat. So there is no preposition in between killed and the goat. Do you see that? Okay, so that makes it a direct object. Okay, so let's move higher a bit. Then we have example there, la demoiselle aime regarder la télé. The lady loves watching TV. So that means that those things that we stated the other time, like lo, la, L apostrophe, me, le, that's for the plural, les, the first slide I gave you after the questions, those ones, for us to be able to replace any noun coming at the object level, for us to replace any noun with them, then we have to consider first if they are direct object. The nouns that we want to replace with pronouns, are they direct object? If they are direct object, then we can pick those ones in as much as they talk about the same sense, Now, let's go. La demoiselle aime regarder la télé. The lady loves watching TV, all right? In other words, la demoiselle aime la regarder. So, for example, what is the direct object in the first sentence there? That's TV, la télé. So, and the télé there is direct object. If you look at it, you remember the explanation I told you. So in between regarder and la télé, there's no preposition a or de, so that makes it a direct object. So if we want to replace TV now, what we are saying is that the lady loves watching it. All right, the lady loves watching it. So la demoiselle aime la regarder, and it has to come before the verb, not the first verb. Here we have two verbs. We have la demoiselle aime la regarder. Okay, we have two verbs. We have aime and regarder. So you cannot bring the TV, it now, the pronoun it, you cannot bring it before the first verb. Why? When we said the lady loves or likes, it means the same thing in French. Aimer means verb to like or to love. Now, when we say that the lady likes to watch TV, what the lady likes is not the TV. So the verb to watch, regarder, is the one that is qualifying the TV. All right, it's the one that is addressing the TV. While verb to like is addressing to watch. I want you to take note of those things very well. So, and I stated on the screen there that la precedes regarder, not aimer. So because of the proximity in sense, the lady watches TV is better or more closely depicted than the lady loves it, okay? And if you consider this as I explained the other time. So we go to the second sentence there, l'homme lave les voitures, which means the man is washing the cars. The man is washing the cars. So in other words, the man is washing them. He is washing them. So how do we replace them? So because we are talking about the cars now, and it is plural, so we'll pick le. You can go back to the first table that I showed you for this broadcast. All right. So il les lave. He is washing them. Il les lave. So the verb has to come before the direct object. Okay. Le COD has to come before the verb. All right. So il les lave. Now we go to the third one. J'invite tes parents et toi à la réunion. I invite you, or I am inviting you. It's the same thing. I invite you and your parents to the meeting. All right. I invite you and your parents to the meeting. So we have tes parents et toi, your parent and you, all right, performing the sense, all right, or having the sense of the direct object. And you know why that is, or we've explained that before. So how do we change that? Je vous invite à la réunion. Remember that invite there is the verb, right? So that is addressing those people. Okay, so je vous invite à la réunion. I am inviting you to the reunion because vous is the pronoun, the direct pronoun that we can use, I mean, in objects now, that we can use to replace your parent and you. In other words, if you say, oh, your parent and you, in other words, you can say you, the two of you, all of you and your parent, you see that? So then I noted something here that note that the preposition are in example 3 is not in any way interfering with the verb and the object constituent, tes parents et toi. Therefore, it is direct object. If you go back to that third one, you see, the rule that we stated at the beginning is that for it to be direct object, it has to, or there must not be any interference of preposition between, note it very well, between the verb and the object that we are talking about, that we are addressing. So, and the are in number 3 is not interfering between the verb invite, which is invite, and your parent and you. There is no preposition in between them. So that are preposition is talking about something else to the meeting. It has nothing to do with them, right? Now let's move further, let's advance. So you can go back to the solutions now, all right? Just as we stated from the questions that are first projected. So le roi admire mon frère et ma soeur, right? The king admires my brother, my sister. Le roi, okay? So the king admires them, all right? So we are talking about my brother and sister now. So then that will come with les, les. Le roi les admire. Le roi les admire. Numéro 2 là, je respecte ma belle-mère, right? I respect my mother-in-law, right? So how do we say I respect her? Je la respecte. All right, je la respecte. But let's change that question to je respecte mon beau-père. Je respecte mon beau-père. I respect my father-in-law. Now, this time around, we cannot pick la because father-in-law is masculine. So in other words, we'll be picking le. So we say je le respecte. I respect him. All right. So then the third one, la vieille femme achète le porc. All right. The old woman, all right, is buying pork meat, all right? So or the old woman, okay, the old woman is buying or buys, okay, out of the two. So how do we say she buys it or she's buying it? So elle achète. Now why are we picking L apostrophe? Normally pork there, you will realize that it is masculine, right? But we cannot say elle le achète. So because of the rule that was stated in the other tips that or the preceding tips before now, all right, so it has to go. So it will be elle achète. You can say elle le achète. It doesn't work that way in French. So then we have the fourth one there. J'invite le président et toi à la soirée. J'invite le président et toi à la soirée. And what does that mean? I'm inviting you and the president to the dinner. All right, so I am inviting you there. So, and because of toi there, so that will go with vous, all right? We use vous to replace the two of them. So the president and you, in other words, we are saying you, the two of you, all right? So, and we have the fifth one there, something of le chef aime ma femme et moi. Le chef aime ma femme et moi. That means the chief, right, or the boss loves my wife and I. Right, and me rather, because that's the same thing we are saying. Because here we cannot say the chief loves my wife and I. No, because I is subject and the chief is a subject in this sentence. So my wife and me, that's what will be the best because me is the object here. All right, so my wife and me. So the chief loves my wife and me. Let's assume that I and my wife are doing something. If we are the subject, then we can use I. But in this sentence, and the question there, I is not I is me, because it is receiving the action. It is the chief loving us, right? So, oh, it is the chief who loves us. So, il, okay, nous aime, right? So the chief loves us, il nous aime, d'accord? So, le chef aime ma mère, ma femme et moi, il nous aime, because I'm part of the receiver of the action. Donc, on s'arrête ici. See you in the next broadcast. Merci. Au revoir.